Welcome to Blank Space episode 3. How's everybody doing today? Tay and Dre?
Doing good,
Good,
doing good.
good.
How you doing, Joe?
Good. We got today, we got ourselves a exclusive NFL free agency episode. As you
What?
guys know, free agency starts this week. And some of us have about 137 million in cap space to spend. But today we're going to be getting each other's opinions, thoughts, maybe some predictions, maybe some sneaky pickups. Yeah, just giving everybody our thoughts on pretty much where we think the top free agents are going to go and maybe what type of impact they will be making on their future teams. So, I think
Let's do it.
Tay, let's go Tay. Let's go Tay. I
Okay,
think the people want to hear from Tay. Tay, why don't you go ahead
let's
and
do
kick
it.
things off for us as I work through some technical difficulties.
I'm excited. Let's say it's going to be definitely interesting free agency. So yeah, let's kick right into it. So I just want to go over a few recent signings. Miles Garrett resigns to the Browns. Record contract, 204 million until 2030. So that's about 40 million a year, which is crazy. Um, And I think the key thing that he hit here is the guaranteed money. So it looks like 122.8 million guaranteed.
Okay.
And I would say with players, that's always the most important piece of the contract is guaranteed because you might go out there, tear your ACL, right? The next game. So really honing in on that guaranteed money is very important. So half his contract is guaranteed, which is awesome. And that also puts him at the highest paid non-quarterback. So that's huge, huge signing. I would give that ranking probably around an A. The Browns really need to keep him happy. He's the star of the franchise, so I thought that was a good sign. Also one I think that went today, not as huge, but Christian Kirk to the Texans. That one was huge. Another weapon for CJ, which will be awesome. So I think Christian Kirk, he didn't have the greatest season last season with the Jags, but I've seen the guy do amazing things. He was on my fantasy team a few years back, so he definitely can show a little bit sparks of life. So I would say him with CJ. Hopefully, Tank could get back out there healthy. Who knows what they're going to do with Stephon Diggs? But I think they're brewing up a nice receiver corp in Texas for CJ. Now, some key players on the market still that I want to highlight. Um, you guys might know I'm a huge wide receiver guy. So Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin's out there. What is he going to do? We've seen the recent signings with Gino to the Raiders. Um, why not, Pete? Go get Chris Godwin. We know, Gino out there likes to sling it. He needs a very, very big blanket, as he's not as accurate. So why not bring in Chris Godwin there? I think that would be a great fit, a great deep threat for Gino to throw to, and then another secure, option on the offense. So Chris Godwin to the Raiders. That's one of my predictions. Another prediction I have as well too. We'll go to the defensive side. I'm gonna say one of my favorite cornerbacks because he was in Seattle, so I'll be a little biased. DJ Reed. DJ Reed is huge, and he showed his able to step into that cornerback number one, next to Sauce, especially when Sauce was hurt last year. So I think he will be huge the next team he goes to. And I really kind of want to see him in Green Bay on the opposite side. So I think for Green Bay to get to that next step, I think Green Bay goes and signs, DJ Reed to be on the opposite side, have two lockdown cornerbacks. The offense, of course, with Jordan Love shows a lot of sparks. So that's one of my bold predictions as well. Um, The last prediction I give you guys, and this might be crazy. I'm gonna bring it back home to the town, Seattle. What do we do with our quarterback situation? And hold your guys' response. It might seem nasty, but just listen. So I would say Justin Fields to Seattle
Oh.
to play as quarterback. And the reason why I say that is um, the history. Ohio State, right? Who else do we have in Ohio State and Seattle? JSN. You got to keep JSN happy. They have that chemistry. I think that would be awesome to watch them, play together in Seattle. Justin Fields has just been. We have an opportunity to go get him, right? He's had a very, very, horrible past 2 seasons, season and a half. But I think if he can get a spark to light and, get paired with JSN, he could get back to being that electric quarterback. So that's one of my last predictions I have on hand, and that's everything I got for you, fellas.
Nice. One thing on keeping JSN happy would probably mean getting him a quarterback that can probably get him the ball. I don't know if Justin Fields. I'm just messing with you. I
Yeah.
love it though, Tay. Great
Yep.
analysis, man. I thought something very interesting that happened today as well was that Christian Kirk trade, right? Does it signal does it signal that Tank Dell isn't going to be back probably to like week 8, week 9 next year?
I
And
think so.
and then you also have Diggs on top of that. But then it wasn't Christian Kirk, didn't he tear up his knee as well or dislocate his shoulder or something?
Yeah, he had a
It
few
was his
injuries.
balls. Dude, he tore his sack or something on a play.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
No.
and that was the last injury that he had, and then he came back from. And I was gonna touch on I don't know why they traded him, but he must not. Maybe not. He might not be the same player after an injury like that.
Well, they cleaned house over there. They
Could
ate
I
my
give
man.
could I give one
Yeah.
more bold prediction? Actually,
Yeah,
I'm looking at
of
my
course.
notes, and I wrote this one down for you, Joe, because I think you'd appreciate this one. So I'm looking at salary caps as well too, and I'm seeing the Patriots. Of course, we've talked about this highest salary cap this year, which is huge. Drake May needs a weapon, right? He needs a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I think as we're on the topic of Seattle, I don't think DK is going to stay. We talked about this last night, Dre. I think they send into the Patriots. And pair DK up with Drake May, and I think that would be a beautiful sight to see. They obviously have the money to do it. Maybe there's some picks in there, but I wanted to hear what you wanted to say about that one. How would you feel about DK in New England, Joe?
Almost affects me just as much.
And Dre.
I would love it. I think it would be awesome, but at the same time, I don't love it. Like I don't think Drake May can get DK kind of the reps that he was looking for. I think
Interesting.
I think he's still probably he still needs like that Godwin, maybe like Ayuk type receiver to just somebody that will be able to go down the middle and catch it. Like DK
Slants.
Metcalf, yeah, and just yak stuff like that. And with Josh McDaniels coming back, I think that's kind of the direction that they're going for. I think there is a little bit of fire to the smoke with all like the Patriots are pursuing DK Metcalf pretty heavy. Like obviously there's some fire to that, but at what cost, right? Like are they going to do it for a 3rd round pick? That's
what they're
probably
saying.
that's as far as it would go, yeah. I could see it, but at the same time, it's like why not call up San Francisco and see if you can go get Ayuk for a 5th, or try to and then do something throughout the draft as well. Maybe go ahead and try to sign. I gotta look at my free agency list. I'm not there yet. All right, we gotta get it.
Yeah.
This is Dre's turn. Moving right along, but I am with you though, Tay. I don't think it's a bad move to at least consider it if you're New England, right?
Yes.
Moving right along to Dre Day. All right, Dre, floor is yours, brother.
All right. Well, first and foremost, I'm going to start by saying free agency to itself, like right out the gate, it's kind of whack. All right. because you get the franchise taggies and the people that resign, and majority of all those people are the ones that you want to see like maybe move to a different team. Like, oh, they could use a middle linebacker. Oh, Zach Braun re-signed with the Eagles. Oh, they could use this. They could use a big guard. Yep, they have so much money. Oh, Trey Smith got a franchise tag.
Ronnie
Like,
Staley.
Ronnie Stanley's staying with the Ravens. I thought he would be out on the market. Like, it's ugly. Now, per my notes, I actually focused on the few trades that have already happened, technically, for the most part. And I'm gonna start at home like I always do. We just got a 3rd round pick for Geno Smith. Let's go! Sorry, excuse me. That's huge. He's like 33 years old. I don't know what Pete's doing. A 3rd round pick for that. This draft is deep. We don't need a running back, unfortunately. I wish we did, because I'd love to grab a running back in the 3rd with that extra pick. They may still do it. Who knows? But I love it. I love it. I love it. It's huge. My initial thought to that trade, it may have saved DK from moving, in my own personal opinion. I believe that he is now staying with the Seattle Seahawks. My personal opinion was that he did not want to be there anymore with Geno Smith at the helm. And it sounded, about a week or two prior to his trade request, it sounded like they were singing praise for Geno. Oh, yeah, he's our quarterback. He'll be here. Yeah. Woohoo. We're going to get a deal done. Obviously, they didn't. And I think a lot of that had to do with the DK stuff. Now, you just saved a bunch of money by trading Geno. You just got a 3rd round pick in compensation. You're asking for a 1st and a 3rd for DK, but no one is rebuttaling with that. Right now we're hearing that all we're getting offered is a 3rd for DK. So if you just got the same compensation that you were about to get for DK, plus you opened up some money, and let's say he just wants something else at quarterback. He doesn't need somebody that's, better than Geno Smith. There's not anybody completely out there. Like, there's an old Aaron Rodgers. There's Sam Darnold, pretty much parallel with Geno, just younger. I mean, I just think he wanted something different and wanted a different direction, and I think you get that now. And I think he saw like what JSN was doing with Geno down the stretch last year, and was like, I want to have a career year. I'm 28 years old. I'm going into my last big contract. These are my prime years. Like, I want to have a 15 tutty, season. I want to go over 1,200 yards, so forth. That ain't happening with Geno at the helm and with JSN here. But you bring in a different quarterback that can spread that rock around and do it, whether it's a rookie and it's 2 years down the line. I don't know. Anyways, long story short, I think it might have saved DK, in my personal opinion. We'll see in the next week or two if he gets moved. But that was I was very happy to see that. I not a fan of Geno. Sam Howell, 0-16. Let's do it. Let's do
Get
it.
him out. Bring in Justin Fields, baby.
Now, last little prediction there, and then I'll move on to a different topic of mine. I then stated, if he does get moved, I think a very good move, based off the compensation they would like, would be a 4th round pick and DK Metcalf, and they can move that 4th because they just got that extra 3rd. A 4th round pick and DK Metcalf for a 3rd or 4th from the Chargers this year, along with Quentin Johnson, and a 1st next year from the Chargers. And what that allows you to do is, if you don't grab your QB this year and you do roll into the season with Sam Howell and you do move DK and you're kind of just going with whatever you got type stuff, you have a lot of ammo going into next year, and you're going to build your team through the draft this year with McDonald. He'll get to build his team this year with 6-7 picks in the first 3 rounds. That's my thought there. Okay, moving on. Second one. Here, let me pull it up. Sorry. Yeah, it was the Myles Garrett news. I'll touch on that just real quick. I was confused when I saw that news. In my personal opinion, there, I thought it wasn't about the money on that one. Like, fully because it is the Browns we're talking about. I thought Garrett just wanted to be on a different team.
Yeah, that man's getting paid.
Anybody would have paid you that, though. You're the best defensive player in the league, not named maybe Micah Parsons in that position threshold. I don't know. I'm confused. Unless it's a sign and trade deal and he's somehow going to get moved here by the draft or something. I don't know. And maybe that was just where he could get the most money, and so he wanted to do it like that. And they were willing to do that. I don't know how it all works, but it really confused me, truthfully. But good on him for being the highest paid. He deserves it. He's been steadily consistent, rarely injured, seems like. So good for him. Third thing, Jags clearinghouse. Tay, you took all my thunder here, dog. Yeah, dropping Evan Ingram, trading Christian Kirk to Houston. Like you said, Joe, I think Dell may not be ready right away, and then beyond that, they might not re-sign Diggs, but at least that gives you a little bit of a blanket. You turn to a little bit more of a run game with Mixon healthy in there. You have Nico, you're good. You're still fine, and they can do some in the draft. So that's good for Houston. I don't know what the Jags are doing, but at the same time, like, are they switching their mindset? They have a decent run game. Let's really invest in the offensive line with the cap space we have. We just opened up more, and we'll find other players to play the tight end and our, second and third wide receiver position. We have Brian Thomas. So, another thing I wanted to point out, and I'll just state this: the Commanders have already won the offseason to this point. So we'll see how the rest of it goes, in my opinion. With the trade deadline trade of Marcus Lattimore and the Debo trade right out the gate for a fifth. Marshawn, excuse me. Thank you. And Debo for a fifth, yeah. They lost Jonathan Allen. They did drop Jonathan Allen, but you re-signed Bobby. You have Lavu. You're solid in the middle. Maybe they're switching their defense up. Maybe they only need. Oh, excuse me. God, I can't speak English. Maybe they only need one defensive tackle that's like, run stuff, and maybe they don't need to. Move on from him. You clear up that space to then pay Debo and Lattimore. So I like what they're doing. They've already won the offseason, in my opinion. But obviously there's a lot of moves to be made. And then the last thing is this guy right here. Is he retiring? I wanted to wear this today because it might be the last time I can, because I don't think he's going to be playing for them anymore. So, yeah, is he going to retire? Where's he going? Does he have, is there a team that even makes sense for him to compete for a starting job? That was a question for the crowd because I'm done.
Definitely. I think it's awfully similar to the Brett Favre path, right? Like, there is a job that's available in Minnesota for a cheap price. Is JJ McCarthy ready this year? Or do you bring in Aaron on like a vet min, have him do the Brett Favre arc, and ride off into the sunset? Maybe
that would be kind of crazy. They low-key have Daniel Jones though. If JJ's not ready right away. Yeah. I'm just saying. Okay. That's a lot in the QB room if they go and sign Aaron.
A lot in the QB Daniel. Room, not really.
I was reading something too about that into AR, and one thing I've seen too is there's still a possibility he might go sign back to the Jets, if he's willing to take a discount. So I think the Jets' main thing was like, hey, we have to release you right now, but go see what's out in the market. So I think it comes down to AR. If he goes out there, he can't find anything that pertains to him and his situation where he really wants to go play. If he's open to it, I think, and the Jets are still open to it, I think maybe they go sign him for cheap, and if he truly wants to play. But I think it goes down to AR. Does he want to do that? If he doesn't, I think it's time for him just to retire, So we'll see. It will be very interesting.
And I guess the last little thing I would say on mine, and like I was kind of getting to and pointing at, is free agency was kind of a bust after the initial wave because most people resign, yada yada, the franchise tags. But you start to see this player movement, and once these trades are made, then it opens up. Oh, you're then released, and you're released, and you're released. Jonathan Allen might be the best player on the market now after getting released from the Commanders. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
so
agree. I think this free agency class it's kind of garbage. Like there's not really anything exciting. It's kind of a dull one, but we'll still cover it.
a lot of good players though, but just not like that changer.
Superstars.
Yeah.
Indeed, indeed.
What we got
All
for you,
right,
Joe?
guys.
Your predictions.
Yeah, so I will start by saying you guys did great. You guys did great. A couple of questions I have is what, because you guys are both Seahawks fans, is what would you essentially, what is your best quarterback option? What do you guys, before I get started on mine, what do you guys think is going to happen with their quarterback options?
So Tay already spoke on his thought it was Justin Fields, but there's rumors of Sam Darnold, and I if you're paying, like, if Geno signs an extension with the Raiders, and you're paying Darnold even 3-5 million less, or right on par, maybe even 3 to 5 million more than what Geno's extension is, I don't think that's a bad move. You're getting a very similar type of player, but with a lot more room for growth. He's turning 28 going into next year, I believe. So you got about 3 to 5 years with him, as opposed to Geno. I don't want the next 3 to 5 years with him. So it's still a good move. I don't really want that to be made though. I'd rather go with unknown. Trade for Joe Milton. Good draft. Jalen Milroe in the second or third round, or Jackson Dart in the first. Like, just the unknown sounds a lot better, truthfully. And yeah, Justin Fields is only like 25, 26 years old and has a lot in there. So if he can switch up the mechanics, learn how to throw a nice, just 10-yard out and stuff, then I'd love him over here too. He's electric, but yeah.
So let me go back to the justification for Justin Fields. This Seahawks fans, I'm Seahawks fans. This next year is rebuilding. This whole next year is going to be rebuilding. The whole, maybe even the year after that's going to rebuild year. Get DK out there. We already cut Tyler. Keep JSN happy as much as you can, and we get Justin Fields in here. We're paying nickels. We don't have to pay the guy huge numbers, right? Mike McDonald, you see, fired the offensive coordinator because we were passing too much. Get Justin Fields in there. He's still young, still has a little bit of experience. Maybe he's with us for 1-2 years while we're rebuilding. Get a rookie quarterback under that we can, for the time being, coach, train, let that quarterback get mature, whether it's Dart, whether it's somebody we're really targeting in this draft, and then dump Justin Fields after that
Breaking
rebuild.
news. Aaron Jones is re-signing with the Vikings on a 2-year deal. Sorry.
No. Thank you.
That is good for Minnesota. That implies they're possibly not going to bring back Sam Darnold. It's a lot of money because they had to look at Byron Murphy. I agree. One
and
thing
Cameron
is
Bynum.
the best case scenario I see for the Seahawks is somehow getting their hands on Jackson Dart in the draft without having to give up too much and then just kind of build around. I don't think Sam Howell's the truth. Whatever,
No.
and
Mm-mm.
and I think the Seahawks actually made a mistake in firing their offensive coordinator for what you said, passing too much. Yeah, I'm sorry, they had 3 good receivers. They should have passed too much, bro.
Yeah.
Makes no fucking sense, right? Okay,
Yes.
let's go ahead and give. Oh, you want to run the ball? You mean our injured running backs that get hurt
Yeah.
every fucking 6 games? Yeah.
Charbonnet was eating, actually, though.
This dude, you guys are gonna be on his neck by the end of next year. I promise you. He's not meant to be a head coach. He's meant to be a DC, and that's probably what's gonna end up happening. He's gonna get fired in the next 2 to 3 years. But hey, at least you got rid of Geno. That's the first step, though. I'll give you that, because I how I wasn't the biggest Geno fan. He did a couple of cool things like 2 seasons ago at his redemption tour, but yeah, man, no, not for me. But all right, moving on to my Go ahead, Dre.
Were you gonna? You're doing your free.
Mhm.
Go ahead. Go.
Okay,
Ivanko.
cool. All right, I'm gonna start with just some notable releases that have happened in the last, what was it, 24 to 48 hours, even up to like a week. Joey Bosa, right, nearing a deal with the Niners is latest that I've read on that. That's not shocking at all. They've already made some cap casualty cuts. Darius Slay, I'm interested to see where he goes.
Hmm.
I could probably see him going to like a team like maybe the Cowboys, maybe like the Vikings, somebody that will lose the corner, have a little bit to spend on the vet men side. Tyler Lockett, ex Seahawk guy. That's somebody I could see going to somebody like the Chargers. Wouldn't it be a bad move for them and like a sneaky pickup deal? Aaron Rodgers, we touched on him. I think the Vikings makes a lot of sense if he wants to still try to win now. Devontae Adams. This is an interesting one that I have on. He's actually on one of my sneaky pickups because he's still an attractive like wide receiver too, right? And at a good price, I feel like he would be able to fit in like a nice high powered offense. Where that is, I'm not too sure. Maybe somebody Houston already has their big body receiver in Nico Collins. Think of somebody that doesn't have a big body receiver that can really use one. Hmm. Come
Buffalo
on,
Bills.
guys. Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one, Dre. You
I
know
think
what?
DK makes a lot of sense over there too.
Yeah, but they already went out and got Coleman and Cooper, right? Does Cooper resign? Does Cooper
Cooper doesn't
resign in
re-sign,
Buffalo? No.
and
No.
you line up DK or Devontae. You line up Coleman right here, and then you have Shakur playing the slot. Oh, that's a
Yeah.
nice little.
Okay.
Shakur just resigned too, right? I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Mm-hmm.
James Bradbury, cornerback, got released. As you know, he famously like dropped a couple bad interceptions in like 2 Super Bowls ago. Interesting. I kind of want to see where he goes. Maybe back to the Giants. And Jonathan Allen is yeah, I was he before he got released, I was kind of interested to see are the Patriots going to be the team that overpays for Milton Williams and free agency. And now that Jonathan Allen gets released, me and Dre were talking about this a little bit earlier. That's a good that's definitely a Vrabel type of pickup, right? Like he fits their defense and kind of their mold. You look at when he was in Tennessee, they had what Jeffrey Simmons or whatever,
Hmm.
Joffrey Simmons. Yeah, and Von Miller got released today as well. Maybe you see
I
him go
seen
to a
that.
team like God, I hate to see it, but Kansas City. Ugh,
Yeah, yeah, they need some help
Von,
there.
just
I
something on like
They
a
just
fucking
signed.
three million deal.
Did the Chiefs just sign
Nick
Bolton too?
Bolton, yep.
Yeah, yeah,
And
Bolton. Yeah,
they franchise tagged Trey Murphy, so they
yeah.
did trade Joe Tooney to the Bears, which was a good pickup for the
Mm-hmm.
Bears to
Yeah,
protect Caleb Williams.
the Bears got him and Jonah Jackson. Just
And this
throwing
is
picks around.
these are just my best available that I have. In no order, I got Chris Godwin. I think he's a proven wide receiver one material. He's
Yes,
had 1,000-yard receptions in what is it, 4 of the last 6
4 or 5
seasons, with one of
seasons.
them
Yeah,
being like he was out. What was it? He just tore his ACL. He was on pace, 50 receptions, 576 yards this past season, and he missed like 8 games.
he's nasty.
So
Yeah.
I think that's he's going to be a big playability receiver for whoever can get him, and Patriots obviously. uh, and what do you guys think about that one? What do you? I know you guys had Godwin on your list as well, Tay. Like, what will be the ideal situation for somebody like a Chris Godwin?
Yeah, I would say it's actually funny you brought the Patriots because I was Raiders or Patriots, one of those two. And the reason why I didn't choose the Patriots is because I could see DK go to the Pats, which would be pretty cool for you, Joe. But no, I would say, yeah, Chris Godwin. I would say either Patriots or the Raiders.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and continuing on, I got Josh Sweat as well. I think Josh Sweat has
Yeah,
played himself into like a nice contract now. With the re-signing of Myles Garrett, I think he goes back to Philly. I think Philly was trying to entertain for as long as they can, maybe the possibility of getting Garrett. I don't think they want to lose out on Sweat and Williams.
no.
Um, I think he does end up back in Philly.
I've seen some rumors too about the Chargers, like
Ooh.
looking for a nice defensive off lineman. So, yeah, they were talking about Sweat as well, but that would be interesting, especially if Bosa leaves.
Yeah, I could see Hassan Reddick going to the
I see
Chargers.
that.
somebody like that. Yep. Yeah. I definitely think that they're in the market for. Obviously, they lost Khalil Mack and Bosa. I think they're in the market for some heavy defensive. Either it's through the draft or a couple of signings through free agency. And I agree that this is kind of a dull. It's like mediocre-ish. No disrespect to anybody in the free agency. Obviously, you guys are legends in the game. But another one that I have here is Byron Murphy. We talked about him earlier, coming from Minnesota. I think he's a good corner that can help. He's a good cornerback too that can help somebody like the Patriots. You know that Christian Gonzalez on the outside. They need somebody else to kind of help them if they're not able to land Travis Hunter in the draft, assuming he slips to 4. Yeah, I just really want to see the Patriots make a big step this year and just kind of spending that money correctly and not going for the overpay of like a Williams or Devontae. I don't think Devontae fits kind of what they're looking for. I think they need to be smart. I think a sneaky pickup is Najee Harris. I think Najee Harris makes a lot of sense for somebody like the Cowboys if they're in the market for like a running back. I believe Rico Dowdle. He might be a free agent as well. I gotta look that up, but that's another sneaky pickup. Evan Ingram as well. Recently cut Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna make a big. He's gonna demand a lot of money. I don't know if it's gonna be the 14 million he was due to make. I still think maybe somebody like the Seahawks. You know, I think if you want to look to upgrade over Font, like why not?
Yeah,
I
nice
don't really
little
think
tight
Noah
end.
Font really does much for you anymore. He's fucking. You know, I think Ingram is electric. I do. I hate him because he took a lot of fucking targets away from Brian Thomas last year when I really needed him. When I was trying to make my playoff push, ended up finishing 2-10 or whatever it was. Terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you guys think?
Well, cool, real quick. I'm gonna say this.
Any sneaky pickups? Give me some sneaky pickups here. While I fix my mic real quick.
Sneaky bold take. No, the Denver Broncos reunite with Von Miller under Sean Payton with the playoff push last year and the top-ranked defense.
I like that. No, I like that. Bring it back
I don't
home.
know. I feel like those older guys, him, Devontae, some of those guys that are on the market, they go for mediocre contracts, go where they want to go, play where they want to play, and with who they want to play with. I feel like that, the Chris Godwin, he wants, like, maybe most of his successes came from playing next to Mike Evans, but hey, he wants to show that he's a wide receiver 1, get paid like it, and have a career year, being the guy for somebody somewhere. So he goes where the money is, and where, Patriots may make sense. Like, Drake May's talented. They're going to give me the most money. They're going to put together a team over the next year or two. I'm going here. Boom. But the older guys, I feel like it's like you're not going to see them go to like the Raiders just because the Raiders need the receiver and stuff. The Raiders will have to pull something out of there, to get the guy that they need.
Well, to be fair, in my opinion, I think the Raiders have a lot of similarities to the Commanders of last year, right? Where like they have guys, right? And maybe with free agency they're able to attract a little. You got Tom Brady, Pete Carroll, like they have.
Yeah, Pete's
They
culture.
remind me a lot of like the Commanders coming into last season. I think they're going to surprise a lot of teams. Granted, they didn't land Jaden Daniels. Before this Geno Smith trade, we were possibly thinking of them getting like a Shador, something along. Even though Shador's kind of slipping, but we could talk about that.
Yeah, he's slipping
Sounds
a lot.
Sounds a little bit like the Raiders a few years ago with Derek Carr and Mike Mayock and John Gruden, and they were going to be so good. And
Yeah, this is Pete Carroll and Tom Brady.
I'm just saying.
Can we go talk about that?
Let's put this on the board. Let's put this on the board. I bet you the Raiders have a better record than your Seattle Seahawks next year. Put it on the board.
Oh my gosh. I'll put a 50 on that, Joe.
Okay.
I like Brock Bowers, not that much.
Hey man, we'll see if Geno and Pete could recreate some 2020 magic or whatever Geno had.
I'm going to say this too. I'm hearing a lot. I know we're not really covering this, but it affects the the free agency and the draft affect each other. I like Shador Sanders.
I was
I
just gonna
don't
say,
love
can we
him, but I
talk
like
about
him.
that? Yeah.
And I hear he's slipping. Now,
Ball
if
is
he gets
hanging
into
up.
that 15 to 30 range where he's going to play for a decent franchise that has a little bit around him, I think he'll be just fine. I think he'll be good. If he goes to, a sorry situation, New York, Jets, Giants, Tennessee, Cleveland, anything like that, Oakland even, Vegas, plays a small factor in there. If he slips, brother, and the Seahawks have a chance at 18, and you keep DK Metcalf, I know, again, homerism, I'm sorry. That's right. I think that's a bold move to do, and I think it makes sense, and I think it works, all of the above. But if not, I see him going to the Las Vegas Raiders.
I will say this now that we are thinking about it. My fault, Tay. Um, I think with the re-signing of Aaron Jones, I think Aaron Rodgers kind of makes a little bit more sense now, right? A familiar running back, and you got a team, right? Because you have a team in Minnesota that can win now, but also has a quarterback for the future. Why not try to maximize the win now with one more year? Let JJ McCarthy learn under Aaron Rodgers. And I guess Sam Darnold did what he did, but like I just feel like it makes a little bit more sense now with maybe the re-signing of Aaron Jones, like the Rodgers to Minnesota, Brett Favre career arc. I think it looks a little. I think it's probably 55-50 right now. Okay.
It actually makes a lot of sense. I hear you. Like, okay, play him the first 6 to 8 weeks while JJ's still fully recovering, all that. Maybe he's fully recovered by week 2 and he's just sitting for the first 6 to 8. And if they're not doing too hot under Aaron, you move to JJ. What's the big deal? It's not like you're going to pay Aaron a boatload of money. You're not going to give up a bunch of compensation to get him. So it's worth it to try. I just don't know why you wouldn't re-sign Darnold for 2-3 years, have him be the guy this coming year, and then back up JJ the next year type stuff. That's a lot of money to pay, but it's yeah.
What do you think about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, right before I was gonna say, can we talk about Shador? Because if Shador does slip to that, like, I would take him in Seattle. Like that'd be pretty cool. Especially with the young guy like JSN to throw to. But again, like you said before, though, Joe, like priority would be Dart. Like I think Dart is like one of those sleeper quarterbacks within those big three that he should definitely go. If not, it's crazy, but if not first, like he should go second. I think he's even better than Cam Ward, to be honest. So we'll see. That'll be interesting. And then AR in Minnesota, I could definitely see that as well. You have Justin Jefferson, so like you don't need a great QB in there. You just you need to be able to throw the ball. And if he goes to Minnesota, if somehow they're pretty, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 on the salary cap right now, the Vikings. What if AR's like, go ahead, bring over Devontae on one side and JJ on the other side? Nutty.
They'd have to move Addison for some draft.
Yeah.
But what if okay, now I'm gonna play devil's advocate, even though I was the one that was just hyping this up. Aaron Rodgers is just complete dog shit at this point in his career. And we just fucked the Minnesota Vikings for like the next 3 years because we sent him back, because now JJ's mad. Now JJ's mad because he had another down year after going 15-1 or whatever, right? That's worst case scenario, but I think I don't know, man. Minnesota, you were in it. You were on the clock. Draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
No. And Tate, to go back to what you're to bring up like Shador. I think the hate is just because of the way that this whole draft process is kind of played out, and it's kind of just my issue, what I have with just the way college football is as a whole, and it kind of is starting to trickle down to even the draft process, right? Where like kids aren't throwing the ball. Like, oh, my tape shows the rest. Oh, really, buddy? You weren't fucking number one. You know, like you weren't the best team in the nation. Like, cool, you had, I don't know, like Cam Ward. Yeah, the tape shows you standing in the fucking pocket when no one is rushing you. Like, cool, I get it, dude.
Exactly.
But I do
Exactly.
think Cam Ward is up here, and I think
Yeah.
Shador is down like here,
Yeah.
and then it goes Shador and Jackson Dart, right? Like I think Jackson Dart is closer to Shador than Shador is to Cam Ward. But I also, call me crazy, I think Jackson Dart's probably the most pro-ready quarterback right now. Like
100%.
I think Jackson Dart's able to go in there and win you games, and win now, right? Like I think he's put in the right situation. Like, oh man, it just goes back to Minnesota just having this fucking dude that wears no shoes and likes to walk around barefoot in the middle of the field, JJ McCarthy. Like I really think they fucked up. I don't think they should have took him last year. Granted, no
No.
one knew Sam Darnold was going to do what he was going to do, but
I was never big on JJ either, you know,
no,
like
he's
I don't
yeah.
know.
Like
I didn't really see it.
he came from a really run heavy college program, right, in
Yeah,
Michigan.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, look at the Chargers. They made J.K. Dobbins 1,000-yard rusher last year. Like,
And they
no
had a
hate to
great
J.K.
defense. They
Yeah,
had a great defense too, you know. But yeah, it will be interesting in NFL combines. Why, like, I'm huge at the NFL combines. So people are
yeah,
like, I'm not even gonna watch that, but I watch it. And Jackson Dart, just the way he's throwing that deep ball and how accurate he is, like he looks the best.
yeah.
And maybe there's a reason why Shadur didn't want to participate,
And
you know.
Cam Ward
So
too.
yeah, Cam
But
Ward, yeah,
there is something to say about like how like in NBA, right? Like Braun was saying like, oh yeah, you can be good at 1v1, but like you can't be good at 5-on-5. It could be the same as like these quarterbacks. Like, hey,
yeah,
I don't really throw good when it's just drills, right? Like I'm more of an off instinct style, which is, I want my quarterbacks to be able to play like that. Granted,
yeah.
like Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback ever, had like one of the worst combines. You know what I mean?
True, true.
Like, so it's like the combine isn't necessarily like say all, tell all type shit, but I want my quarterback to fucking go out there and say, yeah, I'll throw, whatever. Like
Exactly.
that's what you're gonna get paid to do, right? And if I'm gonna
Yeah.
invest, if I'm a team, I'm gonna invest. Like I'm not. This is why I think Shador's getting a lot of hate, is because he's just like pretty much saying like, nah, like I'll go, like I'll go wherever I want to go. Essentially, it's like That's not how this works, though, man. Like I don't think players should be able to dictate where they want to go. Like I don't get it. And granted, this is the issue that I have too. Is like people like to do I can't get a dictate where I go to work or whatever, you know what I mean? Like it's two different things, granted. Like, like if you could, you would. And you like NFL players and NBA players, like they have power. They have a lot of power in the league and kind of where they want to say. But I think that's starting to change. I think the owners are kind of starting to try to push back a little bit on a lot of these like um player power driven trades, contracts. Like, oh, I want to go play over here. Perfect example was maybe the Myles Garrett shit, right? Like he was like, hey, I want to go win somewhere. Like, no, we'll pay you if you just want to stay. Like I think maybe we're starting to see a change in the way that type of stuff's run. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I kind of like going back to Shador. It's like the quarterback prima donna, right? Like I'm the best. I need to choose where I go. Kind of acting, like his dad. And I think he's kind of been put at that pedestal, like his whole college career, even high school. Because of his dad. But no, I agree, Joe. I think it needs to be reversed, and the organizations need to take back that control. And at the end of the day, it's they players don't choose where they go, right? Like you need to be able to win, show your value, and if you do, then maybe you choose where you go. But we need to start seeing more results, right, than just the big names.
Well, I'll tell you, outside of even NIL, I've seen in college sports, I've seen a lot more of these recruits picking their hometown schools or like a school that they want to like take to the top, and not like the the status quo of going to Florida, North Carolina, Kentucky, so forth, Alabama. Like Trey Young. I mean, there's a few others, but yeah, they don't come to mind right this second. But
Ace
people are
Bailey
doing that.
going to Rutgers.
Yeah, Ace Bailey to Rutgers. Like, and speaking on like with them being able to kind of pick and choose, it's ugly. I mean, and I won't get too sidetracked, but they're talking about that right now in basketball. Should Cooper Flag stay at Duke one more year? If the Hornets or the Wizards just so happen to end up with the first pick, and it's like, dog, no, go there, team up with Bilal Kalabauli, and and do something in the next 2 to 3 years, or go to the Hornets and be something with LaMelo Ball. Like,
Yes.
don't shy away from that. And at the end of your rookie contract, you're 27, 26 years old. Go get your money and go play for somebody else. Make your way out. Force your way out. They usually can, but you got to go through it just like everybody else did for the last 75
100%.
years in sports. Like, and then what we were talking about NFL free agency though.
Yeah. I get one quick thing I want to run by you guys. Do you trade the number 1 overall pick if you're Tennessee? Do you give Will another chance, like one more year? I don't know.
I don't think anybody's willing to move up.
Yeah.
There's a team in New York that has a receiver named Malik Neighbors, who's Cam Ward, Shador. I mean, there has been rumored of Shador, maybe them taking Shador at 4, if he's there, or not at 4, at 3. The Giants.
Oh,
because they need a quarterback, and
Yeah.
the latest report that I was reading was Aaron Rodgers, like obviously he wouldn't mind staying in New York as like playing for the Giants, but it's not top of his priority. He wants to go to like maybe a winner, but the winning franchises already have their quarterbacks. You know what I mean? So, but what do you guys think about? What do you think the Giants do then? Like they have pieces, right? Like they have a lot of good pieces. Great receiver, solid running back they found in Tracy Jr. Really solid defensive line. Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns. Like, yeah, they got some pieces. Their offensive line played really well up until Andrew Thomas got hurt. And he's been a solid left tackle since coming into the league a couple years ago. Yeah, I'm just kind of. What do you guys think the Giants do at quarterback? At what are they, 3? I think off the top of my head, I think they're 3.
Yeah, that's tough. I think, I mean, their priorities quarterback. They got to grab a quarterback. Whether it's Shador, Cam Ward, even Dart we talked about, right? Like whoever.
No, not Dart. Not for
Yeah.
not for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I think, like you said, Joe, they have the pieces there. I think their priority is quarterback. And then in terms of your first question with Tennessee, to kind of go back to what Dre was saying a few weeks ago, is like they need everything. So like at this point, like I think they do trade it, like get some value. Like you need everything. Something's gonna be on the board, right? So I think they go trade it because of that, and then also because like this draft is like nice. There's some hitters there, but I don't really see any generational franchise changing player. So I think that Tennessee does go and trade that number 1. Yeah.
I'm gonna correct you on that, Tay. This might be one of the best drafts.
Hold on. Hold up. We got something for that.
Let's go.
All right, guys, we got our first debate. Here we go.
Go ahead, Dre.
Tay. I was talking to Joe about it. I don't like super watch college football, right? I pay attention.
Generational talent, though.
Listen.
Okay. Ooh.
Listen. Travis Hunter, generational talent. Abdul Carter, generational talent. Mason Graham, generational talent. Cam Ward, I do believe, is going to flip a franchise. I don't know about any of the other quarterbacks.
But have we seen
Will
a
Johnson.
quarterback of Cam Ward? I'm going to play devil's advocate on that one, Dre. Cam Ward is just another quarterback. He's not generational, in my opinion.
I didn't. That's why I didn't use the word. I didn't use the word.
But
I said he'll flip a
topic
franchise.
of the debate, we
Generational.
Listen.
So you
Will
named three.
I've already did.
You've
Will
named
Johnson. Will Johnson, generational. Tyler Warren, generational.
Dre, you know what generational like?
Yes.
Okay. You're throwing around that word very loosely, dude.
No, I'm
Yes, you
like
are.
Tom Brady.
you're
generational.
getting like multiple
go.
All-Pro
Mark
years from
Taylor,
these guys. They're gonna all
generational.
no.
That's
Micah
generational
Parsons.
talent.
Generational.
Abdul
Justin
Carter.
Jefferson.
Okay, so
Generational.
Abdul Carter's
Joe Burrow.
comparisons
No.
are Micah Parsons.
Stop
That's
it.
he's
I
he's
know.
gonna
But
be
Abdul
generational.
Carter, I could see it with Carter. Okay. Travis
Mason
Hunter-
Graham. When have you seen like Christian Wilkins is like the closest thing you could probably say you've seen to a Mason Graham
But defensive tackles
from a defensive
Generational,
tackle standpoint.
We're talking. You can't. Generation.
We're talking. You plug them right in. They're gonna go when you fucking.
Listen,
So you think Mason
you have
Graham
like I
is
can
the
name
next
you
Aaron Donald?
I can name you 5 generationals over the last
answer that.
20
'Cause
years.
Now I'm in on this fucking debate. You think Mason Graham is the next Aaron Donald, Dre? Put your fucking
Yes
name
or
on
no?
Well, Aaron Donald's different, brother. Like,
Put your
but
name
That's
on it.
generational.
Generational. Christian Wilkins is not generational.
no, okay. Is Vince Wilfork generational?
Put your fucking name on it. You dare put Mason Graham and Vince Wilfork in the same fucking sentence?
No.
Put your
What I'm
on
getting?
it.
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding. All right, Dre. No, I get it. Carter,
you
yeah.
got me.
Travis Hunter for sure.
I'd say
Keep on
Will
going, though.
Johnson.
Keep on going.
The for sure's though. Will Johnson, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, and then you're getting a little tricky with the rest, but they're there. Mason Graham, yes. Tyler Warren, brother. Tyler Warren. If it wasn't for Brock Bowers last year, Sam Laporta the year before that, like Tyler Warren's on par with these guys, if not better. If he gets to the right situation, he can show his stuff. He plays just like George Kittle.
Dre, not generational. Sorry.
George Kittle's generational, is he not?
Let's go back. Let's go back
play-
to Travis Hunter. This man is 6 foot, 188 pounds. 188 pounds. You know how much I weigh? I weigh about 205. If I go out there and I was as physical, I'm tearing him up. Now, I'm not an NFL player, so Travis, don't come for me. You would get me. You would get me. But we're talking about the NFL, fellas. The highest grade football you can get. There are people out there. How big is DK? How big is DK?
DK's like what, 6'4"?
6'4", what, 200, at least 20.
Something.
You're telling me Travis Hunter's going to line up with him and lock him down?
Is Patrick Surtain a
generational
talent?
That's not generational. That's not generational.
Patrick Surtain's generational. I think Will Johnson is on par.
Okay. Okay. Measurables. Okay.
You got to see what they do in the league, but
No, yeah, I know, true.
In the league.
You have about 5. So you're essentially saying this is a generational draft class then, because there is to have a generational draft class, you have more than 2, and you have about 5. So you think that was last year's draft class a generational draft class?
yeah, because there was about 3 quarterbacks in general that are going to do it. So
Okay. And then you think, yeah, last year's draft class. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was actually really generous.
you're usually not talking about a defensive tackle going in the top 5. If you are, they're on the they're supposed to be generational Vita Vea type shit. They're supposed to be anyways.
Right.
Okay. That's what I'm getting at. A cornerback going in the top 5 to top 7 doesn't happen typically. Travis Hunter and Will Johnson will both go in the top 10.
So you think there will be, let's say,
Travis Hunter plays both sides of the ball. That's generational, if you ask me.
Over 2
He
or
won't do
under
it in the
2
NFL
Hall of
though.
Famers. Hall of Famers
True.
this class.
How many Hall of Famers out of this class?
Plus or under 2 Hall of Famers this class.
Plus, Carter and Hunter definitely will be.
Okay.
See, I think
Clip that.
yeah. I think
Clip
I
that.
think the
I
issue
mean-
is that there's so much there's so much like tape these days on you just see everything, right? And then kids are fucking freakish athletic. So they're like their combines are off the fucking charts. You know, there's that dude Shamir Stevens or whatever, the Texas A&M dude who's just a freak. You know, he
Jadeveon
probably
Clowney 2.0.
he's he worked himself up into the top 10 too because he could be generational according to Dre over here throwing the G word around.
He
like
tested better than Myles Garrett.
right, exactly though. So he's generational. No, like I think when it comes down to it, these kids are going to be freaks coming in. I think it's going to take a lot about the right situation because you could have generational talent, but you will not end up panning out to be a
Yeah.
generational player. We've
Fair.
seen it time and time again before. I think Mario Williams, Jamarcus Russell, who there was this one guy from Oregon, what was it, Deion Jordan, who was supposed to be a freak, ended up being an absolute bust. There's just been a couple of, and I remember Vinny Curry, right? Wake Forest Seahawks pick.
Aaron Curry.
Aaron Curry, yeah. But yeah, like generational, like Aiden Hutchinson. that dude's TJ
Yeah.
Watt. I do think Abdul Carter has a chance to be it. I do think Travis Hunter has a chance to be just off a name and just because of like he'll go down as like generational. I don't think so. I think he'll go down as a good player. Like he will have a good career. Like, and we'll talk about it after the first couple of years. But I think that he is good. I think he's has a good head on his shoulders too. I think he works really hard, and yeah, I'm excited to see him in the league. I wouldn't mind him going to the right situation. But 5 generational players, and if you ever fucking do that, Vince Wilfork, Mason Graham bullshit again, man, like. No disrespect.
That was just the only one I felt like I had to defend. The other ones, they are it. They are hymns. They are Himothes. They're gonna do it in the league. Like
yeah.
So I was just just going at Tay here for saying it's not that good.
Oh, yeah,
it's one of the deepest. There's like 10 running backs that are gonna completely change the franchise they get drafted to if it all works.
There's not. There's a lot of scat backs. There's like three running backs that like I think Judkins, Genty, and dude from UNC. I think those are 3 good ones right there. But then
even
like the rest of them,
you'll see about 6 to 7 that'll play a lot of meaningful snaps next year.
Right.
I guarantee it.
And then where are they going to replace? Who are they going to replace?
Huh? I mean, so Genty's going to the Cowboys. It's almost a foregone conclusion. Omarion Hampton will end up somewhere in the back end of the first, early second.
He looked nice in the combine.
Huh?
Vegas.
He looked nice in the combine. Oh,
yeah, Vegas
my
would
bad,
be
Tay.
nice. I think he would look nice on the Patriots, where you have a bruiser back already in Stevenson, and you can bring him in to like. At first, you bring him along with Stevenson, and then when he's ready, he's the guy, and Stevenson just kind of comes in just to spell him. That's it. Oh.
Where do you guys think Genty's gonna go?
Dre said Cowboys. I think. I mean, yeah, the Cowboys obviously makes most sense.
Yeah.
Just due to like lack of running back they have, but
Yeah.
Vikings. I mean, not Vikings. Raiders. I think the Raiders need to go get a running back for sure.
With Pete, that would make a lot of sense. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You got Bowers. Just go get yourself a nice little. But the thing is that do they want to waste pick 6? I think they trade. To be honest with you, I think they trade with like a team like the Jets or the Saints.
Nice. A lot of great things in free agency. It will be interesting. It'll be interesting.
Anything? Any last little things, fellas? I think it's about time for us to sign off here today, huh?
All I have on my end.
Yeah, I do want to touch up on this.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Lakers lost to Boston last night, and LeBron injures his groin. I think that is a
Oh, it's
devastating
just
blow.
echoing a little bit. Just heads up.
Yeah, Dre, you gotta fix your audio on your end.
Or mute yourself.
Oh my god.
Let's go ahead and get him muted until gets it fixed. Yeah, I think that this ultimately maybe ruins their chances of staying at the 2 seed. I think they're gonna lose some games throughout the way. They got a really tough stretch coming up. But ultimately, I think it'll be all right if LeBron could come back in playoff time and be well rested. And I think they'll be all right. But that definitely fucking hurt, man. Lost to Boston, and then you lose LeBron too, man. But
Yeah, I
yeah.
agree. And we were kind of chatting about that a little bit. Joe is like what we were saying 20 games you were saying or so like left. And yeah, I think those 20 games are huge because like I think looking down all the way to the 5th, everyone's like a game within each other. So yeah, these last few games are going to be very, very important. And then I'm also curious to see how the seeding will work as well too at the end. Maybe it won't hurt us to drop down a little bit. Maybe it will, depending on who we'll see in the playoffs. But yeah, it definitely sucks. Get well soon, LBJ, and let's make a run for the championship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why my mind just always goes to conspiracy, brother. But I don't know. They got a couple weeks in with LeBron and Luka, a week or two, and then they'll definitely get a couple more on the back end before the playoffs start. But I feel like it's just a way for LeBron to rest and for Luka to really get like enriched, make it his offense for a couple weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and that way. I don't know, when they're both not on the floor come the playoff time, it's smooth. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He can step in and lead.
Yeah, they can't just he can't sit out multiple games. They'll get fined for it, and so like I don't know.
Yeah.
How badly is he hurt? He plays through everything. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Just makes me think. That's all.
I agree with that, Dre. I think that's a great opportunity, like you said, for Luka to step in, be that leader, and kind of feel comfortable and take ownership. That like, hey, this is my team too, right? Like, given that autonomy. So that's a great point. Yeah, it's a great point.
Yep. Good stuff, fellas. Well, we wish LeBron a speedy recovery and for the Lakers to still hang on to that 2 seed because right now I think 1 through 6 it goes top of the head. Here we go. We got OKC, LA, Denver, Houston, the 5 seed, Memphis, and then Golden State. So that's the 6. The rest of the play-ins, and then I think it's Minnesota at 7. Yeah, so essentially, if the Lakers finish 3 seed and the Golden State finishes 6, that's not a matchup I'm comfortable with if I'm the Lakers. I
Yeah.
prefer them to finish as the 2 seed to go up against somebody
Yeah.
like Minnesota or somebody like that. Assuming they make it out of the play-in. But yeah, prayers up to
100%.
LeBron, speedy recovery. And yeah, guys, I think that's it for this week's episode of Blank Space Pod, episode 3. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Leave us some questions and some topics you guys would like for us to discuss on next week's episode. And yeah, appreciate you guys for checking us out. Peace.
Sure.
Thank you.
Peace. Thank you guys. Take care.
All right.